Hi. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. My name is Monika Rudnicka, and welcome to yet another webinar for teenagers. I hope that you had a chance to enjoy the spring sunshine today, and you're ready for some adventure with our guests. So today with me, hello. Just maybe before, just if you can hear me, just write hello in the chat box. Okay, write where you are from. Okay. So our today's topic is ecological activism. And I'm completely honored to have with me today our guest, Bramley Lindo, who is definitely a leader in sustainability in the world. And yeah, welcome, Bramley, to our webinar. Can you just say a few words about yourself and how your country, because we are connecting with India, Northeast India, and can you just share with us how you are dealing with COVID-19 and how you're spending your days in India? Bramley, can you hear me? Hello? Yes, we can see you, but we can't hear you. Bramley, are you there?
Hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Great.
Okay. So, Bramley, could you hear me?
Could you hear me?
Can you hear my questions?
Yes.
Can you hear my questions?
Yes, I heard your question. So, first of all, thank you very much, Monica, for having me here to speak to your students in Poland. I'm very honored. So here it's about 10:30, almost 11 o'clock at night. And I'm sorry that the internet is very slow here in our little mountain village, but you can hear me at least.
Yes, maybe when we can hear you.
Yeah, and if the internet is strong again, you'll see the video. If not, you can see me or you can hear my voice. So I am in a remote area in the northeast of India, very close to the border of Bhutan and Burma and Bangladesh and Nepal in the mountains. And as you know, India is a big country. There are 29 states or provinces, 1.3 billion people, second after China. Mm-hmm. And we have lockdown for 3 weeks already. And then the government extended for another 3 weeks. So it's going to be like 6 weeks of lockdown.
Okay.
And it's crazy to lock down 1.3 billion people. Can you imagine? It's it's just madness.
Sounds almost impossible.
A lot of there's a lot of poor people with no food, no water, no medicines, and they believe that they will die from hunger and starvation before the virus even kills them. So in a country like India, it's so hard to lock down, and people don't even have homes. There are people in the streets. There are people living in the slums with no water, no sanitation. So if the virus affects these poor people, like millions could die, literally, and the hospitals will never be able to cope. So, and it could kill a lot of people. 40% of India's population live under $1 a day. So you can imagine €1 a day. That's all you have, and you have to live with that. So if the virus hits you and you're so poor and you don't have food, no water, you're gonna die. There's no defense. So the farmers are also suffering, because the farmers cannot go to the fields to take their crops, and they cannot sell their vegetables. They cannot sell their produce, so they don't have money to feed their kids, and they're really suffering. Unlike in Europe, the government of India doesn't have that kind of money to give, emergency fund. There's no way they can give to billions of people that kind of money. So I'm very sorry to say that a lot of poor people are affected, and I think the death rate might even go higher and they might not even say COVID deaths, but they are COVID's death, and people are scared to say that they are dying from COVID-19 because they will not get the body. So you cannot bury your family or your friend if you say die from COVID, because the government will take your body and they will just burn it, and they will not allow anyone to take you to the grave, because that's the policy of the WHO. So it's very complex in poor countries, but I think many other countries like India, who are developing, will be suffering a lot. I mean, even America is suffering, even Europe is suffering, so even Japan is suffering. So
I think all countries are suffering.
I think all countries are suffering.
Yeah, a lot more. But if you're poor, even worse. So this is the reality from my part of the world.
Okay.
And, I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves and staying at home and staying safe.
I think we are trying to do that.
I think we're trying.
And Brinley, so can you share with us what your foundation is doing, and just say a few words about your mission and what you do?
Yeah, so our foundation is based in London. It's the Worldview Impact Foundation. And over the last 10 years, we've been working to restore a forest in the Himalayas, the cloud forest, where the clouded leopards live, where the tigers live, where the bears, I think most of you might have seen the Jungle Book, right? So I come from the Jungle Book. That's where Rudyard Kipling wrote the Jungle Book. So I am a mountain guy, and then I went to Myanmar in 2012 when the government opened the border, and my colleagues said, let's grow some mangrove trees in the ocean. And since then, we've planted 9 million mangrove trees, and they're the ones that grow by the ocean, and they block, winds, tsunamis, floods, hurricanes, and they're called the forest of the ocean, or the tide, and they're a miracle tree. And so we've been doing this restoration projects all over the world, in India, in Burma, in Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, also parts of Brazil, Mexico, Kenya, the west coast of Africa, Senegal. So we work with a lot of communities, a lot of young people who are working on agriculture, on forests, and restoration, on clean energy. So all the green projects that are fighting climate change. So this is what we do. We do a lot of training with young people. Yeah.
Sounds really awesome. Bremley, I have a request for you. Have you got the headphones? Because I can see the echo of my voice all the time. Can you have maybe the headset just to put on?
Yeah, I can do that.
Great.
You can.
Thank you. And maybe, thank you for sharing what your mission is with your foundation. So before just telling you more and sharing even more, let's go through the slides and let's revise some words you had a chance to learn before our webinar. I hope that you went through the Quizlet we prepared for you. So let's go through the slides. Okay, sorry. Okay, wait a second, just give me a sec. Okay, it's my mistake, wait a second. I don't know why, but it's from the very last. Wait, just give me a sec. Okay, one more. Sorry for that. I just checked before the webinar whether everything is fine, and I forgot to come back to the first slide. Okay, so that's the first slide. And the first sentence for you. So are you able to measure your annual, and now can you just share with the answer, maybe carbon footprint is the right expression, or maybe deforestation? What you think? Of course, you can write in the chat box. Okay. Any guesses? Any? Okay. So, of course, the answer is, are you able to measure your annual carbon footprint? So, I think that we are going to learn about that, and we are going to get the answer to this question, Bramley, with our webinar. And you're going to share with us. So what about the second one? Trees absorb the heat trapping livelihood or greenhouse gases that human activities emit? What do you think is the answer? Have you got any idea? So trees absorb the heat trapping that human activities emit. Greenhouse gases, excellent. That's the correct answer, of course. Yes, trees absorb the heat trapping greenhouse gases that human activities emit. Isn't that true, Bramley?
That's correct.
That's correct, of course. What about the next one? They try to generate sustainable livelihood or maybe emission opportunities. What you think is the correct answer? Okay, anybody? Emission, okay. Livelihood, okay, I guess that's the one. Of course, they try to generate sustainable livelihood opportunities. Okay, let's proceed with the next one. What can we do to reduce carbon, agroforestry, or perhaps emissions? Any guesses? Yes, you can always write emissions. Of course, carbon emissions. Carbon emissions, that's the correct answer. So what can we do to reduce carbon emissions? So let's proceed with the next one. Our mission is to restore our livelihood, the environmental balance of Earth. Kuba, great. Restore. Hannah, excellent. Excellent. That's the correct answer. Okay, so our mission is to restore the environmental balance of Earth. Sounds great. Okay, what about that one? Pretty long. Rubber-based involves the complex and diversified cropping system that combines the growing of rubber and other agricultural crops in the area in a sustainable manner. So indigenous or maybe agroforestry. What do you think? Agroforestry, of course. We are pretty fast. Okay. Yeah, rubber-based agroforestry involves a complex and diversified cropping system that combines the growing of rubber and other agricultural crops in the area in a sustainable manner. Excellent, you're so good. Are there any species of plants indigenous or multi-cropping to this land? So what should be in here? Okay, so let's see what the correct answer is. Of course, indigenous to this land. So are there any species of plants indigenous to this land? Okay. And what about the next one? Human-driven and natural loss of trees. So deforestation or perhaps emission affects wildlife, ecosystems, weather patterns, and the climate. What do you think is the correct answer? Of course, deforestation. Thank you for answering, Dorota, Kuba, Kasia, Hannah. Excellent. Well done. Great. So yes, so human-driven and natural loss of trees, so deforestation. What about the next one? Okay, sustainable agriculture takes many, or multi-cropping, takes many forms, but at its core, there is a rejection of the industrial approach to food production. What about here? Multi-cropping, okay. Sustainable agriculture. Okay, Dorota, you are right. So definitely it's the one. Sustainable agriculture takes many forms, but at its core, there is a rejection of the industrial approach to food production. Okay, and let's continue with this one. Sustainable agriculture or multi-cropping is the practice of growing 2 or more crops in the same piece of land during a single growing season. What do you think is the answer? Yes, Kuba, that's right. Multi-cropping is the answer. Okay. Yes, so multi-cropping is the practice of growing 2 or more crops in the same piece of land during a single growing season. Excellent. So I think that we are done. Yeah, that's not for now. Okay. So now we are ready. Yes, now we are ready to discuss, and now we are ready to hear what Bramley wants to share with us. So, yeah, Bramley. So maybe let's start with the story of your mission, and yes. So you've just at the very beginning you mentioned that you what your mission is, but what the goals are. Maybe you will tell us what you do, why you do it. Just can you share with us?
Yes. So like I said, I live in a mountain town and we have a lot of rain here. It's raining a lot. I know you haven't got any rain. Maybe I'll send you some rain from from Northeast India so you can water your trees and your crops.
Maybe after our webinar,
Understand?
the rain is going to
Yes,
appear.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, so we have also a lot of deforestation here. And when I was young, I saw a lot of these logging companies and trucks coming in, cutting down the trees, and it really hurt me a lot. And then my father said, you know, you need to do something with this. You need to try and stop it and come up with a plan to find solutions for other jobs for people, and not to cut down trees, but to do some kind of ecological tourism, handloom, handicraft, sustainable harvesting, or agroforestry of growing food together with trees. So that's where the concept of agroforestry comes along. So I started my project here working with small farmers after I finished my PhD research work in the UK. And I used the finding from my thesis to start the business here with a few smallholder farmers. And that's how we are growing these rubber trees that we'll be talking about, together with the pineapples, together with the papaya and banana, and also we have bees flying around and chicken running around free range and little piglets. So this is what we call integrated farming system, together with animals and birds and bees and trees and fruits, everything in just one farm. So
And
you can have multiple income streams.
Yeah, and
This is the way to have multiple income streams. So even if one crop fails, you still have another crop which you can earn money from. And then you can have ecological tourism, whereby you can host people who visit you, so you can also have money from tourism into these farms. So the goal is to then replicate these projects in many different little villages, so we can have like a network. So when you guys come visit, we can go from village to village to village and stay in these eco villages that produce their own food, have their own water, generate their own electricity, so they are like self-contained. Nothing will happen to them. Even if you know, something bad happens to the big cities, you will survive in these small ecological village. So that's the plan. That's the inspiration, is to create a resilience from climate change and independence, to have your own food, your own water, your own housing, and your own energy source. The basic needs are met.
So it's the local people are very self-sufficient, so they can depend on themselves, and they can feel safety. Am I right? And they can have just a good life there.
Simple, organic life.
Organic life, great.
Yeah.
And is it only India that you just do the project, and then you you have the impact on?
No, we have been working in 75 different countries. We have been doing that for the last 25 years. But you need to focus also in your own home, so you can help your own people. You know, my father was challenging me. He said, Bramley, what's the use of working for the UN in New York and the World Bank in Washington, D.C., 10,000 miles away from home, trying to save the world, when you cannot even do anything for your own people? What's the use? So I said, oh, yeah. So he said, you know, you got to do something for your own people too, because how can you save the world if you can't save your own home.
So you
that's what
start
I'm doing.
locally and then you go globally. So first you have to take care of your own area, of your own villages, of your own just community.
Thinking globally, acting locally. Yes.
Great. Great. It sounds great. And Brimley, when did you start being involved in social issues? So you were like, so excited about ecology and about, about being active and just this willingness and this power to change the world, to just, fight with the, deforestation and all these things that are just bad for people and you want to change?
So I was in school. I was in 5th grade or class 5. I think I was about 10 years old. And we had like a big cyclone in Bangladesh, just south of our border. And a lot of people died from this big cyclone. And we heard in the news that they are calling for schools and colleges and students to help raise money to help these cyclone victims in Bangladesh. So I was able to mobilize friends, families, colleagues to raise money, but I also was able to collect old clothes and shoes and, rice and pulses and food stuff, and collected everything and took it back to the school. And then I had got this award for raising a lot of money and also thinking innovatively to bring food and clothes and shoes and medicines. So I got this award, like I was just in 5th grade, 10 years old, and I beat the guys who were like 15 and already ahead by 5 years, So I said, okay, we can do better. So that really inspired me. And I had great teachers just like Monica, who's inspiring you guys and you girls right now to teach you to do good things for your country, your community, and hopefully the planet. So it's very important to have good teachers who also teach you about something else outside of your curriculum to do good for the society, so you can start early in your projects and follow your dreams and make a difference at an early age.
Guys, I forgot to tell you that, of course, if you have any questions, you can ask the questions and write them in the chat box. So remember about that, okay? You can ask them anytime you wish. Okay, Brimley, and so what motivates you to act and what motivates you to lead such a challenging project or challenging projects and just to follow your, so where does this motivation come from?
Well, the motivation came from, the ancestors in my land. We have a sacred forest in my village. It's called the Lingdor Sacred Forest. Maybe you will see it in the video. So my ancestors from my family, my clan, have been maintaining this forest for 1,000 years. I came to Poland for the climate change meeting in Poznan in 2008, and I visited your, ancient forest. The only one in Europe from the medieval time is in Poland. But sadly, the trees are dying and some people are cutting those trees. So I think you guys should protect your little forest there, the only one in Europe from the medieval times. Nowhere else in Europe is the forest like in Poland. So I saw it. It's like a magical place. So we have that kind of forest in my home. And it really inspired me that our ancestors have been protecting it for so long. And there are thousands of species inside that don't exist anywhere else in the world. And they're medicinal plants, they're herbs, and you can save a lot of lives from these magical plants. So that gave me inspiration to protect and restore what is destroyed and restore the balance on Earth, not only for our generation, but also for future generations to come. So because if we don't do that now, the next generation will not have anything left for them, no more tigers in the wild, no more forests, all dirty water, polluted air, oceans full of toxic. I mean, what a shame, right? What will the young people in the future say to us? Like, you guys destroyed our future. You stole our future. So we have to do something now, or we should have done it like 20, 30 years ago to save future generations. Because it's not fair for us to destroy the planet and leave a dead planet for future generations. You won't have a future anymore, sadly. So we have to do all we can to protect and restore the balance now before it's too late. That's why I'm doing this.
Sounds really impressive, Bremley, really. But have you got any doubts sometimes whether you're doing enough, or you're always like sure of anything you do? Or there are sometimes some doubts?
Well, if you don't take risks, you don't get anywhere. Of course, I've been burned many times. There are many sharks out there in the water. They dress like dolphins, and you learn to trust them. But before you know it, their true colors come out, because the humans are very greedy people. They cheat you. If you're simple, if you're nice, they exploit you. And it's really sad to know that, we have lost our humanity. There's so many poor people, but there's so many billionaires and millionaires. They want to grab all the money. They want to take everything. They don't want to share. It is really sad. So all these billionaires are living this high class lifestyle, consuming so much of the planet's energy only for their family or for their own community, and they don't share, while there are billions of people living like in abject poverty. So it is so unfair that the planet has become so divided, and we must do something to restore that balance, to provide at least the basic necessities for the people who live in very poor countries that could die from the impact of climate change, from like a big storm or a drought or a hurricane, because their houses are made of bamboo and thatch. They have no protection from the winds. They can be blown away because they're so poor. Because rich people will always be able to protect themselves. They've got money. They can fly. They can go somewhere else. They can have stronger homes that can shield themselves. But poor people don't have that. So we have to do our best to restore these forests, to restore these mangroves, to protect millions and millions of lives of very poor people living by the coast and in small island states, small island countries that can be underwater in the next 10, 20 years when all the glaciers melt from the Antarctic or the Arctic. So I'm seeing a lot of glaciers melting, even in the Himalayas. So you can imagine the Himalayas that are covered with snow just becoming barren like a rock, and all the water dries up, and India is an agricultural country producing a lot of food, and everybody will starve to death here. It's crazy. So this is happening if we're not doing anything to protect our forests.
And actually, Dorota has got a question to you, Bremley. What are mangroves?
Okay, mangroves. Those are the trees that grow by the sea. There's a little video I've shared with Monica, which you can see later. They have like roots that stick out like that, and they are sticking into the ocean, into the soil, and it's always covered by water, and the tide goes in and out. That's why they're called the forests of the tide. They grow in the sea. They grow on salt water, and they are like like a wall, like a shield. They can protect you if you live by the sea from storms and hurricane and tsunamis. They block. It's like a living wall. And then you can Google it, mangroves. And there was one woman who asked me, Bremley, why are there only mangroves? What about woman groves? I said, I don't know why they call them mangroves. They should also have woman groves, So funny. Anyway, they are miracle trees. They only grow in the tropical countries. So sorry you don't have them in Poland, in Europe, in the Mediterranean, but they grow in the tropics, in the hot countries. They need a bit of heat, They're tropical guys, tropical trees. But they store a lot of carbon, like 5 times more than the rainforest, and they produce a lot of fish. So if you grow mangrove trees, you'll be happy because you will get a lot of fish. And they also produce a lot of oxygen, and they produce a lot of water molecules and hydrology, and they create rain. Okay. So if you don't have forests, you don't have rain. So the forest brings you rain. If you're having a drought, you need to plant more trees, all of you.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to, after our webinar, we're going to plant a lot of trees here in Warsaw as well. Okay, we have another question from Mysterious. How are you feeling when you protect forests from cut down?
Yes, there are a lot of people who cut down the forest, just like in Avatar. I don't know if you've seen the film Avatar, where that big home tree was cut down by those guys, shot it down, and all the people that lived there died. They fell off the tree. So in our culture, we believe that the trees are like our brothers and sisters. So if you cut down the trees, you also cut a part of our being. So it's really sad when you see people merciless just to make a living and to make a profit. They don't care how old the tree is. It might be there for thousands of years, and they just cut it in like 5-10 minutes, and it's gone. All that energy, all that power that tree, that history that the tree holds is gone, and then they burn it off into charcoal and make furniture. It's really sad. It's depressing. But what can you do? You can't stop. You need to plant new ones, but obviously the new ones will take a lifetime before they can grow again to that size. We may be dead, long gone, but hopefully the next generation will enjoy those trees that we plant today.
Okay, so I can see that Bramley, you feel a close connection to trees simply. So as you were now explaining how you feel when people cut out the trees, you feel like you're losing your energy as well. So that's one that makes you work, that makes you just plant even more trees. So you never give up.
Yes, you can never give up the fight. If you give up, you're dead. You must continue fighting. There's that song, what doesn't kill you make you stronger. So remember that.
Yeah. Stanisław asks also another question. Have you sometimes feel like you can't do more to protect and you are helpless?
That's why I need to build a team of warriors. That's why I'm talking to you guys to build a new team of warriors, even from Poland, to help. No man is an island. There's a proverb in African proverbs say if you want to go alone, you go fast. You run alone. You go very fast. But if you want to go far, you go with a team support you. So you go much further. So you want to go very fast, you run alone. You just run by yourself. Or if you want to go very far, you go with a team and you build a team so that even if you die, there'll be another team, the next generation who will continue what you started, and you build a legacy, and you'll never give up. And even if your time is up, another group will come. Keep training, keep going, and you keep sharing that energy and knowledge and the passion with the people that believe in you, that care about the same things that you care about. So you have to delegate, you have to build a team.
Yeah, and Dorota, I think it's a follow-up question. So what can we do to help?
Okay, great. Well, we have these rubber trees that we are growing here in the mountains. I used to do a campaign in the wintertime when people are having Christmas trees, I used to do like a song, all I want for Christmas is a rubber tree, So, we're planting these rubber trees together with the pineapples in the project here. And these rubber trees are storing carbon, like one tree can store 1 ton in 10 years. Not only that, it is producing, natural rubber, which you can tap. And then every human being, all of us, we consume 5 kilograms of rubber. Everything in our products has rubber, from your elastics, your shirts, your undergarments, your gloves, your boots. All that rubber comes from trees, rubber trees. The tires of the aircraft, the Formula One, the tires of your cars, all those things, masks, all come from trees. Now you know. So that's why we're growing those rubber trees, so that it can produce rubber, but also store carbon, but also prevent soil erosion. So if you want to join our campaign to make yourself carbon neutral, you can get some rubber trees from our website, and you can plant. They're just like $10, and you can put your name there, or for your birthday, or for somebody else. And and we will send you a certificate, and you can come and visit the forest here one day and see the trees for yourself and tap some rubber. Yeah,
excellent.
I would like for you. I would like for you guys to come here when this whole pandemic is over and stay in the farm, eat the pineapples, see the wild boar, see the tigers, see the elephants, the rhino. You got to chill out, stay along and work on our project here.
So
That'll be
Remy,
cool.
now you're inviting our students to you, yes, to visit you. The tourism, because they are really enthusiastic about such invitations, I guess. Great.
Yes, I've come to your country like 3 times already. I've been to Poznan, I've been to Gdansk, I've been to Ljubljana, I've been to Warsaw. Yeah, it's now it's your turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the invitation. And
Yes.
You said that you are planting rubber trees, and in the villages, and you are trying to educate people as well, because you need to train local people to protect and to maintain somehow the trees you are. Can you just say a few words how you proceed with that, what the training is about, and where you start from? What you need to first when you choose the village, when you choose the land, when you're going to plant the trees. So what are the stages of just following and just growing the trees?
So these rubber trees, they grow in about 200 meters above sea level, or 300. So they need a bit of heat. So they are kind of tropical trees. So they grow in the lower hills. And so we have to prepare the soil. We have to dig 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet, like a box. And then after the hole has been dug, we plant the tree, but it has to be done just before the rainy season. And so we've planted like 10,000 trees, but we need to plant more. But before we plant them, we have to raise them in a little baby nursery for like 6 months to make sure that they grow from little seeds, and they grow. They have to be taken care in the nursery. And just before the monsoon, we then take them from the nursery, we dig the holes, and we plant them in the holes. Then after that, the trees need to be taken care of like little babies, right? If you just leave them there, they'll be dead. So the first 4 to 5 years is very important to take care, to cut the weeds from the side, because if you leave the weeds will suck all the food and the trees will die. And then you have to cut all the weed and the grass, and then make it like a nest around the tree. And then also, because people smoke in the dry season, it could catch fire and it could burn the tree. So you have to make like a fire line, so that when it catches fire, it will stop. It will not burn the trees you plant. And then also you have to create like a buffer between the trees and the river, and create like a irrigational system from the rain. So when the rainwater comes, it gets stuck into the tree. The water goes in. So it's a lot of work, a lot of a labor-intensive program. So that's why we need to put a lot of people on the ground to work, to take care of the trees until they're ready for tapping in 6 or 7 years' time. And we do it all organic, so we don't put any chemical pesticides or fertilizers. And we keep the soil organic because we're growing the pineapple, so it takes a bit longer. So so this is important to do it organically also, and it takes much more effort because you're not spraying anything. You're just using natural controls. But so we have to train the local people to do all these things properly, because if they do a mistake, the trees could suffer or could die.
Are they always willing to be trained and to learn, the local people?
Yes, because we have created like a society, a cooperative society, and everyone has been allocated like little plots of land with trees growing. So every family has been given the responsibility to take care of their plots, and the families that take care, of course, the trees will grow faster and they will benefit the most. So it works like a co-op. So people who take care, the trees will grow better, they will win, and soon they will get to tap rubber. So, but you have to check on them, you have to train them, and also when the trees are big enough, they're ready for tapping, you have to train them how to cut with the knife, because if they make a mistake in cutting, the tree will be scarred and it will not produce enough rubber. They're very delicate, so it's quite scientific. So everybody has to be trained properly, especially for tapping. for tapping the latex. Yeah.
Okay, Bramley, I think that we have some questions let's start from Bartek. It's about the drought I mentioned you about when we were talking, that in Poland it's very hot now, and we are facing severe drought. So what we can do? Can we all do something? Yes. So what we can do with that?
Well, the most important thing is to conserve whatever water you have. And also when the rain comes, the most important thing, I don't know in Europe if you have it or not, but rainwater harvesting. So from the roof, you collect all the water that comes from the rain and store it in the tank, down in your tank. Here in India, almost every house has got the roof collection, and they collect the rainwater into the tank below, and they use it when they don't have the rain. And also, drought is caused because of large-scale deforestation. A lot of forests in Europe has been cut down, not only in Poland, but all over Europe. So unless and until the European Union mobilizes large-scale reforestation to restore the balance, the droughts will get worse. But Poland alone cannot fight. It has to be like a European level, large-scale restoration, using nature-based solution. So we have to do this to restore the balance, bring the rain, because a big forest controls the rain patterns. It brings rain, it changes the climatic conditions. So if we lose forests, we also lose rain, and the weather pattern changes.
So everything is about the forests, I can see and I can hear. So
yes.
We need trees, we need forests, we need parks, and we need a lot of oxygen.
Yes.
Okay, so Bramley, I think that we can say something about carbon footprint, what we mean by that, how we measure it. Can you just shed some light on that, please?
So a carbon footprint is a footprint that each of us have. So if I'm living in Europe or in America, the average carbon footprint of every citizen of Europe or America in a developed countries is about 10 tons a year. How does that 10 tons come? 10 tons is from the kind of food you eat, the imports, the clothes you wear, the energy you use, the cars you drive, the fuel you use to go to school, the electricity at home, all the consumption for the whole year, whatever you eat, whatever you do, the amount of water you use, the amount of electricity, heating, it's like 10 tons. So for each of us, even for me, if I was in London, it would be 10 tons. For each of us to be carbon neutral for 1 year, we have to plant at least 10 trees. So every year, each of us have to plant a minimum of 10 trees, and those 10 trees are equal to like 1 ton each to neutralize our emissions. So if we do that, each of us, in every school, in every college, we can stabilize the planet, This is the best way to fight climate change. Wherever you are, to just plant a lot of trees. Yeah. So this is the carbon footprint of humans in the developed countries. Of course, in Africa, in Asia, in India and stuff, where people are poor, they don't even have a car, don't have any electricity, living in the forest, they don't have so much emissions, so their emissions will be lower compared to Europeans or Americans or people living in rich countries. So this is the difference between rich and poor countries and the amount of emissions they produce. Every year. Yeah, so that's the carbon footprint.
That's the carbon footprint. Okay, and how we can, you just gave us some hints how we can reduce it, yes, by planting the trees. Each of us 10, and you said 10 trees.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. And what about you, Bramley? Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, I'm still here.
You can hear me. You are there.
Yes.
So from time to time you disappear, but that's because of the connection, unstable connection. So yes. I've got used to it, but I think an hour. I can see that the audience also and the students also, they got used to it. Okay, and Bramley, and what about your holidays? What is your best best place in the world? Have you got one?
So the best place on earth that I visited is the big island of Hawaii. I was there to do research on, the marine biodiversity restoration they are doing in the ocean and the Pacific, but also to go and see the volcanoes there. It's an island that's still growing because a lot of lava is coming out from the volcano. And I wanted to see the manta rays and dive in the night to see them come out to feed. They eat the planktons. And I love it because it has so many microclimates. And at night, you can see the entire Milky Way galaxy from these mountains in the big island because there's very little light pollution. So it's complete darkness, and you can stand in the mountain and you can see all the stars at night. So I think it's an incredible, magical place, untouched, with very less population and a lot of local Hawaiians living there and having fish from the ocean and diving. I love it. And I think that's a magical place to go and recharge. But it's very far away. But I also like to hike to the mountains. So hike to the mountains and take a break to recharge, disconnect, and just heal yourself, and meditate. And you feel you're so small in front of the big mountains. You're nobody, and they're so grand and so big. You may think you're very smart, but you're not, because in front of the nature, you're nothing. You have to be respectful of Mother Earth and nature. In the same way, this is how a little virus called COVID-19 shuts the whole planet down, we humans, we think we're smart, but we're not so smart. A little virus shuts the whole world down, And now we have to talk to each other on video conferencing, We can't even go to school. Can you imagine? Yeah,
that's true.
So this is a wake-up call from Mother Earth, because Mother Earth is very angry with us. We humans are like a virus, like a cancer. We're destroying the planet. So the response from the planet is to release the virus to stabilize itself. It's trying to teach us a lesson. So if we don't wake up, even more deadly viruses will come out, because the glaciers are melting, as you know, the permafrost melting in the Arctic. All those viruses that's been locked there for millions of years are coming out now, and they're leaking into the ocean, into the fish, and we eat that fish, it'll be contaminated, and it will jump into human beings. Even more deadly pandemics are coming if we do nothing, sadly.
Yeah. We have a question from Kasia. I would say a different one. Are you practicing yoga?
Sometimes I sit and meditate. I run a lot. I like to run. But I do that in the mountains or in the forest by myself, just to be silent, have some quiet time, and just listen to the birds and not see a single word. Or walk for miles and not see a single human being, and just be by yourself and be quiet. And that's where you get to connect with the universe, Just you and the mountains, or you and the forest. It's important to do that for quiet time, for reflection, every day if possible.
Yes,
And you should walk barefoot to connect with the Mother Earth, walk barefoot in the mountain. Yes, walk with your own feet. Don't wear any socks, any shoes. Walk barefoot.
And do you practice walking barefoot?
Yeah, every morning.
Oh my God, great.
Yes, I will run barefoot. I run barefoot in the mountains. Yes.
Really?
Yeah, it's great. Okay. It's you get your energy from there,
Great. So that's the advice also for us, guys. We should also walk or just run. Yeah, walk barefoot.
Barefoot in the grass. Yeah, on the grass everywhere. Not on concrete, on the grass. Yeah.
Okay. To feel the connection with the nature.
With the Mother Earth, with the Earth.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It helps your body. It helps your body because the magnetic field of the planet goes up through your brain and down, the force field, because we are connected. So if we are disconnected, then we also become weak. The immune system is weak. We fall sick easily. So that's why it's good to walk barefoot morning before sunrise in the dewdrops. Dewdrops. This is what my father taught me. Yeah.
And Brandy, so what are your future challenges and plans? What are you going to do in future? Connected, of course, with have you got any plans, any challenges?
Well, I have to finish 1 billion trees in the next 10 years, 1 billion. So it's a long way to go. So I have to do like 100 million every year.
Okay, sounds
10
impressive.
years left. 10
Okay,
years left.
okay.
So 1 billion trees to draw down 1 billion tons of carbon. That is enough for Poland, UK, and Spain, for the entire emission of Poland and Spain and UK combined. 1 billion tons a year.
But
Yeah.
do you believe, or do you think it is possible to do so?
Yeah, we've reached almost 10 million now, so we have to do faster. That's why we are using these drones, these tree planting drones, to plant like 100,000 trees a day, and also with a lot of people around to monitor it. So I think we can scale. We just need a lot of investment. We just need like $1 billion. Yeah, exactly.
And Remy, what are your best moments of your mission?
Yeah, I think the best moments is when you see your little baby trees that you planted is growing and is alive and is producing, whatever. If it's a fruit tree, it's producing like, mangoes or, papaya. And if it's a rubber tree, and if it's a grove tree, it's producing fish, for the community. So life, you're bringing life back to the ecosystem, and not only for you, but for many other people and for generations to come. So those trees will live way beyond my time. So that brings me joy and happiness to see that, and a smile in the people's face, and they're happy. Yeah.
And Kuba asks the question, how much does a sapling of such a tree cost?
Yeah, so it costs about $3 or something to raise a sapling, and then we have to clear the land, plant it. So that's it's cost. So at the end, it comes like 10 pounds before tapping. So that's why when we sell these tree certificates, everybody pays 10 pounds. It's not just about planting, but also caring and taking care. It pays for the wages of the people, and as you said, it's very labor intensive. So we have to pay the women and the men, because that is their job, so that they don't cut. We plant more and more and more trees, and the trees will also feed them. So yeah, it's a good balance. It's a really good balance. It's a win-win. You create jobs, you produce food, but you also store carbon. So I'm quite happy when this agroforestry system works, because it helps a lot of poor people. Because if we only talk about trees and you forget the people, it doesn't work. We need to help the people to also feed themselves from the trees. Then they feel happy. Then they will plant more and more trees. Then they win. People also win. Forest also wins.
Thank you, Bramley, for answering the question. And yet another question from Julia this time. Are you interested in philosophy?
Yes, of course, a lot. Philosophy is an interesting topic where you philosophize about everything. You go back in time, you think about the future, what's going to happen, human behavior, how they change, what's the ideology of people, why they behave in a certain way, how we humans have become so disconnected with technology. We're all living in your, digital world instead of talking to each other. And keep your phone away and get offline. Some people cannot survive anymore without Wi-Fi. Well, thanks to technology, I can talk to you now. But if I go to the forest, there's no internet. I just have to talk with the people and chill out and, hang out in the forest, listen to the birds, wait for the wild boars at night and listen to the elephants coming and stuff like that. You will not learn about nature if you're just online all the time, on your phone. You need to also learn how to survive in the jungle, and then you have to go offline.
You won't have a chance.
Yes, to survive.
Yeah.
Yes.
And still a question from Kuba as a continuation to saplings. So where are the saplings from?
So the saplings are raised here locally. They are like brought from different villages that already have trees. So we grow them from the stems. We cut them, put them inside, raise them, and we keep growing them. Same for the pineapples. So we take the suckers from other people's farm, and we plant it in our farm. And then when the pineapples grow, we give the suckers to other people also. So once you have it, you can continue growing it, and you can produce saplings from your own trees, and produce them and grow them and give it to other people too. So it's great. It's a multiplier effect. So you can keep growing. Yeah.
Thank you. And still, Hannah asks you a question. Do you like painting?
Ah, there's a painting behind me. You
Probably
see?
that's the reason why Hannah asked the question.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is my village, the traditional village in the mountains. There's a river. There are these like stones that our people put. There's a little hut there with straw and bamboo. So yeah, I like painting, but I haven't had a chance to do much. Maybe now I should do more again. Yeah, painting and music. It's important to have this artistic balance in your brain, So yeah, I enjoy it. Thank you for that question.
Yeah, I think
Painting
very
and
nice. Yeah.
painting and singing at the same time, multitasking.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bremley, any advice still for us what we can do here locally in Poland, in Warsaw, to protect our earth?
Well, I can send you something called the ecological footprint calculator, where you can calculate your footprint, not
Great.
only carbon but the whole ecology, like how long you stay in the shower, what kind of car you drive, where you import your food from, how much electricity you use at home, do you compost, or your kitchen waste biodegradable, how much plastic you consume. It's really amazing to do this calculation. It's like, oh my God, is that real? Yeah, how many planets we need to live the way we live? Yeah, it's called an ecological footprinting calculator. I'll send it to you, and you can take a look at it and do this and exercise. Then you can take action in your homes, individually, or you can change and talk about it and brainstorm. Yeah, apart from planting trees, Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for answering this question as well. And still, Kuba asks a question: how much time does it take for local people to benefit from raising a tree?
Yes, exactly, because they are the ones that take care of the trees, and they are the ones that will do the tapping, and they are the ones that will also teach the children to do because the latex will be produced for like 30 years, so a whole generation can benefit, and they can feed themselves from that. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a pretty important question from Dorota: can you send the link to the website on the chat, the link about measuring our carbon footprint? Can you just send us the link on the chat so that the students have the access to it?
Yeah, I think it's called carbonfootprinting.com, but I will send you ecological footprint. I don't have the link right now, but I can send it to you later, and you can pass. It's saying like ecological footprint calculators. If you Google that, it will come up. Ecological footprint calculator, and you have to
so much for that.
Fill in the blanks, and then and so on and so forth.
Great. And still, I think Hannah has got the last question. I would say, how many trees have you planted in your life?
Personally, I've done maybe 10,000 by myself.
Okay.
But with the whole team, we've done 10 million, of course. So 10 million. Yeah, 10 million trees so far. With my whole team. With my whole team, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Bremley, it's already 8, even 1 minute past 8. So I think that's the end. I was super excited to have you here, and thank you so much for sharing so interesting facts, actually, and interesting information about ecology, about your mission, about World View Impact Foundation, and about rubber trees, and about everything what you shared with us. Thank you very much for for sharing, for being with us. And we are really
Yes,
excited
you're most
that
welcome.
we could see you, because at the very beginning we thought that that we wouldn't see you, but it's it's the success that we have you here and we could see you as well, not only here.
Yeah, definitely. I've also put the link to the website where you can see what we are doing with the rubber trees. And if you want to go plant the rubber trees, you can follow the website and see. There's a link there. There's also a song you can download, a song about the tree. Yeah, so yeah, it's cool. Yes.
So thank you.
You know, we organize something called we organize like carbon neutral dance, where we invite to come and dance, and we just charge like $10, like an entry ticket. So everybody gets to dance and have a party, but they also plant a tree. So it's called the carbon neutral dance.
Wow.
And you know, we've been carbon neutral dance. So normally when you go to a club or everything, you pay like £20 or whatever to enter. It's like, okay, you can come to a party, you just pay £10, but it's for a tree, and you get to dance. And then you meet like cool people, and you're all dancing to different music. If it's for India, they're dancing to like Indian music. If it's for Brazil,
So
they're dancing to Brazilian music.
A lot of positive energy, a lot of happiness, a lot of like happy people just spending their leisure time together and doing something good as well.
Yeah. So after this COVID-19 is over, you can organize like a dance in your school and plant some trees together.
Super. Super. I'm just, inspired and motivated to plant at least one tree in my neighborhood.
Yes, exactly.
So Bremley, thank you very much, and good night, because it's already so late in India. And one more time, thank you very much for sharing and for being with us today. Thank you.
You're most welcome. It's just 11:30, no problem.
Thank you, Bremley.
Bye guys, take care. Dziękuję. Bye.
Bye.